The DLCs of the Far Cry series have been synonymous with experimentation on all fronts. In our minds, we imagine the coordinators of the various development teams who deliver the game system into the hands of their younger colleagues and tell them to do so they want, to then find out at the end of the work what their minds have given birth to. And so, after the 3 roguelike experiences that pay homage to the history of the franchise and its most charismatic enemies, digging into the memory of Voss, Hagen Min, and Joseph Seed in order to reveal some interesting background. Here's another one expansion with a supernatural flavor, completely untied from the main campaign. Dani Rojas is quietly sipping a beer on Yara Beach when at one point he observes the crash of what appears to be a meteorite. The impact occurred very close, but as the man approaches the crater, a luminous globe emerges which, suspended in midair, begins to throw lightning to everything around him. Taken aback, Dani takes out her gun and shoots him, causing an explosion that knocks him out. When he recovers, a sort of talking spark named Phi explains to him that he has screwed up, practically destroying his ship and forcing both of them to remain imprisoned in a parallel dimension until space rescue arrives. In a few million years, the only way to speed up the process is to access a series of portals and recover the 5 crystals needed to repair the vehicle, thus allowing not only Phi to leave for her world, but also Dani to return to Yara. There's just one problem. The 15 scenarios that make up this alternate reality are populated by hostile creatures, armed to the teeth and determined to eliminate any invader. The story of Lost Between Worlds is consumed in the dialogues between the protagonist and the alien entity, and there is no shortage of amusing interludes, such as when the latter takes on animal forms after receiving the crystal, narrated through interlude sequences that boast the same, very good quality of those of Far Cry 6. There is no doubt that the developers of Far Cry 6 have a weakness for the roguelike approach, which characterizes not only the 3 DLCs dedicated to the villains of the series, but also Lost Between Worlds. In this case, however, perhaps there was no need. The structure had enough body to hold up even in the presence of a normal progression. And so the fact of having to start all over again at game over is an extra we would have gladly done without. Luckily, in this case too, there are elements that transform the experience into a less ruthless roguelite. If we have collected enough sparks in the event of death, we will be able to decide to spend part of it to start over from the beginning of the stage we have reached, and so don't go back to the starting point. Similarly, the recovery of crystals and the skills that will be given to us by Phi in such contexts will not go to zero and indeed will contribute to diversifying our subsequent expeditions, allowing us, for example, to access alternative routes. On the other hand, we will not keep the equipment entrusted to chance from time to time, but which summarizes the instrumentation seen in the main campaign between pistols, shotguns, machine guns, sniper rifles, and special objects. As mentioned, Lost Between Worlds offers a total of 15 scenarios accessible via portals, each with a different theme, tougher enemy, any modifiers to take into account, and several good ideas on the visual front. All things considered, the duration of around 4 hours is adequate for the selling price of the package. In the Far Cry 6 review, we explained why the gunplay of this latest episode of the Ubisoft series did not excite us, full of hitbox hits and a general lack of refinement that make it simply not up to its undoubted potential. Unfortunately, the system has remained unchanged in view of the expansion, although some variations on the theme have been introduced. Remember the classic Ikaruga. Here, in Lost Between Worlds, we will be able to change the color of our weapon from red to blue instantly by pressing the D-pad, for being able to hurt enemies of the same tone. A further element of challenge, which is felt in particular during the most agitated sequences, such as for example in the excellent boss fight that closes the adventure. Beyond this mechanism, the scenarios also present very different situations. In some cases, we will find ourselves solving small environmental puzzles and platform sections in order to continue. In other cases, we will have to move underwater for most of the time, or even find the right path inside a labyrinth or watch for lightning falling from the sky as we explore the map. The inevitable repetitiveness resulting from the obligation to replay the same stages in the event of a game over is therefore compensated, at least in part, by the variety of the action and by the alternative paths that can be unlocked as the crystals are recovered. Of course, as mentioned, the shooting is what it is. The novelty of the colors leaves some time, and after having dedicated a few dozen hours to the main campaign, this system could have tired you by now. It's up to you to decide if you still want a Far Cry 6 or lower. We have mentioned that the scenarios of Lost Between Worlds are able to give truly suggestive glimpses, which mix some places of Yara with new construction. Crystals that come out from everywhere and objects suspended in the void, similar to the mirror dimension of the films of Doctor Strange, but without clearly reaching those levels. The end result is nice, too bad that the design of the enemies is so trivial. Little to say about the sound. The expansion has practically no music. The effects are functional to the action and the dialogues in English are well interpreted. And that's it. I hope this review was helpful for you. But if you enjoyed this video, then leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. As always, until next time, take it easy.